All right, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today for the Igloo webinar. As you may know, we introduced the Igloo Blaze last week, the world's first SAN with worry-free storage, and it's built on XIO self-healing intelligent storage elements. Your presenters today are Gavin McLaughlin. He's the VP of Strategy and Communications at XIO Technologies. He's been with us since 2011. And he leads all outbound communications at XIO, including press and analyst relations, and together with the development and the articulation of our core strategy. He brings over 25 years of technical sales and marketing experience in the storage industry at organizations such as EMC, HP, and Sun Microsystems. In addition, we've got Ellen Rome. She's the VP of Field and Channel Marketing. She has over 30 years of experience leading sales and marketing teams in channel development and lead generation, including here at XIO. And previous to XIO, she's worked with as the VP of Strategic Alliances and Business Development, VP of Sales and Marketing for StoreServer, as well as held roles in marketing and general manager positions at Neocore, Eastman Software, Wang Laboratories, to name a few. And then to round it out, we've got Mike Rolinson. He's the Director of Technical Product Management. He holds 20 years of experience in the storage industry within manufacturing, development, and solutions engineering, and he leads the XIO Igloo and ICE product management team. And what we'd like you to do today, if you want to move forward with the slides, we're actually going to be able to take your questions throughout the presentation. You just put it into the chat. And then if we can, we'll answer it during it. Otherwise, at the end, we're going to have time for questions. And please follow us at XIO Storage on Twitter, XIO Storage on LinkedIn, and XIO Storage on Facebook. Thanks so much, and Gavin, take it away.
So, hi everybody, good afternoon or good morning, depending on the time zone that you're in at the moment. I'm just going to spend a little bit of time explaining the context of why we're launching Igloo. Where it fits within our product line, and some of the philosophies behind it. Some of you may be aware of XIO's products to date, some of you may not, so it's worth just recapping what we've been up to this year. Because 2015 has been a big year for us, both in terms of growth, but also in terms of innovation. We opened the year with the launch of what I like to call the foundation platform, which was the launch of the third generation of the intelligent storage element. The intelligent storage element has been around since 2007 and is a very well-proven architecture out there in the storage world, meeting a lot of unique claims, such as very long life cycles, the ability to fill it up to 100% without loss of performance, and really unrivaled reliability. We have plenty of customers who've never ever needed to see a service engineer in the lifetime of the box, which is an incredible statistic in the storage industry. So January's G3 launch was to give us more performance, more features, and more flexibility within the product line, adding, for example, iSCSI capabilities into our block storage arrays. But in March was a very big release for us. It was something called the 800 series. So we'd always been well known as being in the hard disk and the hybrid storage spaces, having launched hybrid in 2011. But what we added this year was an all-flash array that not only kept those core tenets of the ICE and its differentiators in the market, but added unrivaled price performance. And to prove that point, rather than just being a marketing claim, we handed our box over to the Storage Performance Council and asked them to run their SPC1 benchmark against it. And it actually showed, at the time, a #1 statistic for price performance in the marketplace. So when you're looking at how many IOPS you get for a given dollar, with #1, and that's beating every single product that was out there in those SPC1 tests. So that was a remarkable thing that got us a lot of new attention, and it proved the point and met some of those claims independently. But what we're adding now with the Igloo product line is something to complement the ICE. This is not a replacement for the ICE. This is actually hitting a different area in the marketplace. And the reason we're doing that is the storage industry is actually going through quite a lot of change at the moment. In the past, we've seen a lot of monolithic storage arrays. We evolved from using dumb disk and volume managers into large storage arrays that gave us fantastic performance, gave us fantastic reliability, but at a cost. And I remember working in enterprise storage in the late 90s, where it wasn't uncommon to see $1 million per storage array, which was kind of crazy when you think about it now. What we're seeing immediately happen is actually the change in the industry, where we're seeing lots of smaller suppliers coming to market with faster innovation. Part of the reason for that has been flash, but part of it has been this move towards software-defined storage. And by software-defined storage, I mean the separation of control from storage arrays between the control plane and the data plane, i.e. some of the features and functions that we've seen in the storage array are now moving into the hypervisor and the applications. But that's presented some customers with a challenge. And the challenge is, which road do you go down? Do you go down the fully featured storage road, where it's all about having control in the storage array itself? Or do you go down the software-defined road, where you're actually divulging that control and giving away control to the application and the hypervisor? Now, for a lot of people, they don't feel that the software-defined market is mature enough yet. There's a lot of innovation coming in things like virtual volumes or vVols from VMware. But right now, it's a bit of a compromise, especially when a lot of people use commodity hardware for software-defined storage. Now, what's different about XIO now is that not only do we have products that fit into both of these categories, but we can actually adapt between the two. So Iglu is a fully featured traditional storage array that gives all of those features that we haven't commonly provided in the ICE. And the reason being, we always said the ICE is the perfect hardware foundation for software-defined storage, and therefore you don't need the features. Well, as I said, some people aren't ready for that yet. So what we felt it was important to our customer base and to our partner base is to give more choice. So Iglu gives you that flexibility. But what is unique about us is we actually have the bridge between the two worlds. If you go with a fully featured traditional storage array from other vendors and decide to move to a software-defined world in, let's say, 12 to 18 months, you simply can't do that. It's a different architecture and it's a rip and replace configuration. What is different about XIO is we can take an Iglu, and because Iglus are made out of ice, if you pardon the pun, we can actually strip away the Iglu headers, and we have the ICE platform, which, as I said, is the perfect hardware foundation for software-defined storage. So we have an incredibly adaptable platform, and you'll hear Ellen talk in a minute about why adaptability is important and how we meet that adaptability challenge. So the ICE platform, as I said, has been out there and has been proven. We have nearly 8,000 units installed across 1,500 customers worldwide. These are not bold marketing claims. We have many customers that you can gladly actually pick up the phone and talk to, who will say, I had it installed 5 years ago and I've never even had to replace a hard drive. I've never needed to see an engineer. So these boxes are great at delivering on their promises, and the promises being that it gives that unrivaled and leading price performance, but it's very, very simple. It's kind of a plug-and-play architecture that just delivers on its promise. So we see lots of people in highly virtualized data centers, in the cloud space, in service providers using these, because they don't want to worry about storage. They want storage to almost be a necessary evil that just sits in the background and does its job. And the ICE is the perfect foundation for doing that. And it's because it uses a layered approach. And what I mean by a layered approach is right from the bottom of this stack, with the drives, we use a grid technology so we can actually get better performance from less components. Anybody can give the same performance as XIO, but not at the price point we're doing it, and we prove that independently. We have automated tiering, so we can actually, with our hybrid platform, deliver flash performance, but at a fraction of the cost of all flash arrays. So we give a lot more flexibility in that platform. We have what we call active-active controllers. So we have a dual controller methodology within the ICE itself. So this is at the ICE level, bearing in mind, we're using active-active controllers to give high availability at lower risk. And then we actually replicate some of those controllers even further in the Iglu level. So you've got an end-to-end high availability system here. And we're monitoring that all the time. So there's what we have called managed reliability that ensures we get the full performance from the box at all times. Most storage arrays out there on the market will give you a best practice of something like 75 to 80% full before you start seeing performance degradation. We don't have that. You can fill up one of our arrays to 99.9% full and you're still going to have the same performance as you had when it was empty. And that's really important for a lot of our customers who just want storage to work. But as I said, we're now adding fully featured data services that can be stripped away if necessary. So if you want to go down the fully featured route today, you can deploy Iglu Blaze, and you can redeploy that as ice further down the line. So hopefully that gives you a quick introduction of the why we introduced the Iglu platform. I'm now going to hand over to Ellen, who's going to talk about some of the challenges that we've solved here.
Thank you, Gavin. I appreciate the introduction. This is Ellen Rome, Vice President of Field and Channel Marketing. And if you're logging into this webinar, I assume it's because you may have faced some challenges with your storage environment. And I'm just going to cover a few that we see every day. And they're challenges that we don't see when our customers are using XIO technology. We hear often that customers have to buy more storage when their existing system isn't even full. For example, if they buy 100 terabytes of storage, they hit 60–70%, and they see their performance drop dramatically. Then they're faced with going back for more budget, not planned, and we don't think people should have to deal with that. Or we hear that people are spending too much time firefighting, changing drives, tuning, when they should really strategically be supporting their business. The other thing we commonly hear from customers is they kind of freak out when they get their year 4 and 5 maintenance bill, and it's ridiculously high. With XIO, that would not happen, and when that does happen, it causes a number of customers to look at buying a new solution before they're ready to make that jump in expense. The other thing customers are not 100% comfortable with is the fact that they can recover in the event of a disaster. So these are all things that we think we can help you address. We know we can help you address it, and we'd love to explore other challenges that you might have with you. I just chose a few. But what I really want to talk about today is our new Iglu product line. We are so excited to bring to market the only SAN with what we say is worry-free storage. And the reason it's worry-free is because of that ice foundation that we'll talk more about. Literally, we are as adaptive as a chameleon, as balanced as this pile of rock, and as simple to use as switching on a light bulb. So Iglu is an adaptive platform. We'll talk about why. The storage foundation for today and tomorrow. You get the perfect balance between performance, availability, and cost. And again, it's simple to maintain, use, and install. So let's first talk about really what's so exciting about our Iglu product line. ICE, which is the foundation, is the world's best price performance storage array with really unrivaled reliability. And at XIO, our philosophy and our belief is that the hardware really matters a lot. Think about, when you build a house. I love Gavin's example. When he was building a house over in Europe, he was really impatient because he wasn't seeing anything go up. And he said to his builder, what is going on here? I'm not seeing progress. And they said to him, you know what? It's all about the foundation. If we don't get the foundation right, you're going to have issues in your house. You're going to see cracks. In Colorado, where we have expansive soil, I've seen houses split in half because the foundation was not good. With ice, you get a strong foundation. And what we're doing with Iglu is taking that foundation and bringing you incredible SAN features on that foundation. So, why is Iglu adaptable? There are many different reasons. It has flexible configuration options. You can use hard disk, you can use flash, you can use a combination of both, whatever meets your business. We have managed self-healing, so the system takes care of itself. You don't have to worry about it from a maintenance point of view. We'll talk more about it. You can pick fiber channel or iSCSI connections. You can choose, as Gavin mentioned, to go with a fully featured SAN stack, or you can use ICE underneath a hypervisor in a more software-defined configuration. The other thing that's really nice is that you can have both configurations in one environment, taking the complexity of managing different types of storage solutions out of the equation. making your life simpler. It's also flexible and adaptable because we provide a number of features to really meet your needs. Basically, you know, if you're looking for data protection features, we have them. High availability features, we have them. Typical, you know, SAN features like thin provisioning, snapshots, replication, clustering, physical to virtual recovery. Mike will talk more about these, but you can choose the features that you need for your business. Let's talk about balanced. We run fast forever. So one of the things that's unique about XIO and Iglu is, as Gavin mentioned, you get 100% performance at 100% capacity. You might wonder, what is this coffee cup doing on the side of this slide? This is something that gets me mad in the morning. When I go to order a latte and it's half full and, you know, filled with foam, and I'm not getting 100% of the coffee that I need in the morning, that's what you get sometimes with other vendors' storage solutions. Make sure you get what you pay for, and that's what you get with XIO. We also use less energy, cost, maintenance. We're really leading in terms of lower risk, downtime, obsolescence. So we give you the ability to really ensure that you get what you pay for. We would all love to spend as much money as possible on everything we need for our infrastructure, but that's not always available. So what you need to do is balance what you need for your business, get the most you can for the money that you're spending. Let's talk about, you know, lowering your risk of downtime and obsolescence. We have high availability, no single point of failure. We have a strong record of delivering uptime. In fact, we were rated #1 by Gartner for reliability, availability, and serviceability. We're very proud of that. And XIO was the first vendor in the industry to offer a 5-year warranty. And that's because of what we do at the hardware, the firmware level, and because of our expertise there, we're 100% confident that we can warranty the system for 5 years, and we have many customers happily using the system beyond that time frame. So investment is protected. You can repurpose your ICE building blocks into software-defined. You can grow with any media type, and you are protected in terms of warranty. We're also the lowest maintenance SAN available. We have a fast time to production. If you buy an Iglu system, it's pre-configured, it's tested to meet your exact requirements. We have white system glove installations. There's no specialist skills required, and when we leave, we hand you the keys and you're all set and ready to go. We have on-site skills transfer, classroom training, 24/7 support. We monitor your system, virtually zero maintenance. In fact, many of our customers meet our XIO service person, and it's the last time they see him on that day of installation because of our industry-unique self-healing design. We have proven reliability with the ICE blocks over the last 7 years and a modular architecture with flexible scaling. So when you look at Iglu, we have an incredible foundation built on our ICE series arrays, all the way from all hard disk to flash arrays to hybrid, which gives you the performance of most all flash systems. But what's really unique is that we also have a distributed controller architecture. Mike is going to talk a lot more about that, but that's what ensures you get the performance you expect and need as you scale. So we are really excited to bring Iglu to market. Our customers have loved our ICE product, but many of them did want more features right within the SAN solution stack, and that's what we're bringing to you with Iglu. And when I talk about Iglu being the only SAN with worry-free storage, it's because of the balance, adaptability, and simplicity. And what we hope you can recognize and be is the man behind this Iglu keyboard, so happy with his storage because he knows he's getting what he paid for, high performance, and he can work on strategic business issues knowing that his storage is taken care of. So we've turned the coined the term here. Is that what you say? That it's cool to have an igloo, and I hope that an igloo is in the future of all of the people on this call. But what I'd like to do now is turn this over to Mike, who's going to get into the technology a little more deeply. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellen. Thank you, Gavin. And thank you, everyone, for attendance. My name is Mike Rolinson. I just want to go through the technology overview and touch on some of the features and some of the differentiation that we have with the igloo. So we talked about the difference in the different paths that you can go down, depending on whether you want to be software defined or you want to be the fully featured, right? The important message here is that for our fully featured, the core architecture, it really is a different type of system because it was designed as a standalone array in the software defined market. So you really have a very easy transition between the two. You have the ability to really get the best of both worlds in a single product. So if you're a builder and you want to go off and do it on your own, you can get all those components together. But if you just want to buy something that actually has all of those world-class and leading technologies built into it, you can take the other path down there and go with the igloo. So I'll touch on the igloo blade storage array. So it is a feature-rich array that is powered by the ice. So really, it's our delivery, if you will, of the feature sets for that ice. So you get really that dependable, predictable, high performance that's built into the ice below the igloo storage array. So the reliability, scalability, really unrivaled when you're comparing it to a traditional array where you're just adding a bunch of JBODs behind it. I'm just stuffing a bunch of disks behind the controllers. You know, our scalability really is very different because we're scaling with the ice. Of course, like all of our gear, it comes with the free 5-year hardware warranty that's included. It really is the array that provides that worry-free storage. So you get that same just set it and forget it workhorse that you get from the ice, you now get with the igloo storage array. We do fiber channel and iSCSI. Our scalability per igloo storage array is from 21 terabytes to up to, or a little bit over 310 terabytes. And that scalability model really is very simple. You're just adding another ice behind there as you go, and you can scale then with performance and capacity. The data services that we'll talk about are around snapshots, replication, data protection, mirroring, thin provisioning. Again, the common features that are expected out of your fully featured SAN arrays that are out there. But you also get that extremely low maintenance. So again, free 5-year hardware warranty. And in the igloo storage array, you'll never replace a hard drive, right? We do not have hot swappable replaceable hard drives because our core architecture was designed to radically change the operational model of disks and allow us to get past that 5 years without ever having the need to change a hard drive. Igloo blades, the front-end controllers are active-active, so it's mutual failover. Again, very, very easy to scale, and I can scale based on performance or capacity. As I'm adding additional ice, I can get different performance tiers and different capacity tiers that really make it very, very flexible. And you can future-proof yourself against changing workloads and changing applications. And 2 years from now, after I purchased my array, my company acquired another company, and they have an application that has a very different workload than what I planned when I bought my original array. The scalability that we offer gives you the ability to just, again, scale and expand based on what not just the capacity is, but what that workload or that application profile is. So you can go, from archive all the way up into all flash pools in the same system. We also very uniquely add the active-active disk subsystem controllers. So behind the igloo controllers, we're scaling by adding an ice, which is a standalone enterprise class array on its own. So as we do that scalability, we get all the benefits that come from that. So the in-situ repair, which helps, again, reduce any service outages or service events that you would have, and does that in-place repair of hard drives. The matrix RAID, which is part of our core architecture that allows us to do data movement very, very differently in our system. Part of what gives us the ability to have full performance at full capacity, and what gives us the ability to actually do 2 to 4 times the IOPS. So double or more the performance per device as in any other array that's on the market. So just very, very high performance, very reliable. And everything is fully redundant, right? So we're adding an entire different layer of redundancy in the back end. And by scaling with that ice, gives us the ability to offload a lot of the intensive duties that controllers are doing. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. So if we go through some of the key feature sets, so snapshots, Snapshots are very important in a lot of environments, and they're being used for a lot more these days. So, Snapshots kind of started as a way I take a snapshot of my data and then stream from that to a backup. And we're seeing a lot more use cases for snapshots and a lot more need for granularity and a lot more great feature rich that needs to go in there. We support up to 1,000 snapshots per volume in the Igloo. 5 years ago, that was kind of a comically large number, but we do, again, see a lot more use case for snapshotting these days. So we want to make sure that we actually enable that to go through there. So if I want to move that snapshot off to a QA server so they can do data mining, they want to do analysis, all the traditional recovery pieces. If I want to move data, I can mount that snapshot to the server that the original volume was on and just pull off the data that I need to really enable really good use cases, right? Make snapshots very, very usable in the environment. And again, application integrated, so you can see Exchange, SQL, Oracle, a lot of applications where you want to take a snapshot that's actually transactionally consistent, not just a hot snap where you have a crash consistency. You want to make sure that when you're taking those snapshots, you can quiesce the application so that your recovery is much easier, much quicker. For replication, we do continuous or periodic or delta mode. Again, this is based on kind of what your SLAs are, what your operation environment is. We include WAN acceleration in the product. So there's a lot of hardware products out there that you can go buy to try to reduce the amount of traffic that you need to send across your WAN when you're doing replication, whether it's just a high data rate change or whether you've got a low link in between there. You want to reduce the amount of traffic that goes across. We have that built into the product, right? So you can kind of tune that a little bit to whatever your SLAs and what your environment looks like. Also include encryption across the wire. So if you need to do that in-flight data encryption for the data you're sending across, we give you the ability to do that included in the product. Another area of differentiation where we really put a lot of work into the product is around automating DR failover and actually automating a lot of the failback, right? It's easy to kind of plan for your failover when I'm doing my site switch from data center A to data center B and not put a lot of thought into, well, what happens when I want to go back, right? If it's a transient outage or an outage for a short period of time, you don't want to have to extend that outage to get back to your primary data center. So a lot of work went into helping automate that and get that done up front. Even physical to virtual. So if I've got some big iron or some bare metal servers in my production data center, SQL Exchange, Active Directory, don't really want to have to take the cost of having that same class of hardware in my DR site, can actually configure it to do a physical to virtual. So your SLAs allow it, say when I do my switch over from data center A to data center B, I'm actually going to be running those applications in a virtual machine. Can automate all of that for you to really help save costs in the event that you actually ever have to do a failover. Also have test modes. It's again easy to set up DR, but when you really need it, you need to know that it's going to work, and you don't want that test to be when you're doing the failover. So we have test mode where you can go through fully test all of that automation to ensure that in the event that you're doing that switch over, everything is actually going to come up for your end users and for your applications. For high availability, we have feature-rich mirroring, and mirroring is really more about like keeping the applications up more so than when you're looking at DR, which is more around that data services. So locally, I can just set up a mirror for my application for my tier 1 apps or users. In the event that my primary volume fails for whatever reason or goes away, it's a seamless automated switchover into that replica disk, no interaction necessary from the user, and the application never even knows it happens, right? It just knows it's sending its I/O down. The fact that we switch from the primary to the mirror, it's not even aware. So again, you provide that high availability. Thin provisioning as well as automated reporting, so a lot of reportings that are built in to help you monitor the environment, and these can be scheduled or taken at any time, and you can set up to email those to you at every night. And what you would expect for most of the third-party integrations, so VMware SRM, VAI, Hyper-V support, SDBMM, all those things are included as well. If we look at the configurations, your base Igloo configuration would contain one ICE, and that can be a 110, which is our archive product, and ICE 240, which is our all hard drive high performance model, the ICE 740, which is our hybrid model, and then this features our CADP real-time auto-tiering, so very different than what a traditional auto-tiered or cache-accelerated array does to, again, deliver that predictable high performance that you really can't get in any other hybrids on the market. or our 780s. Any of those units can be part of the base config. And then as you scale up, you can scale up to 11 ICE per Igloo controller system, and you can scale in any combination, right? So if I start off with the 240, then I realize, hey, I need higher performance, or I want an all-flash tier, I can, select the 740, select the 780. If I realize, hey, I need a lower tier, I can select the 110. And you can on the fly do that, so that, again, you're not locked into your workload based on the array that you buy and configure today. When we talk about kind of isolating or removing those SAN resource and the contention that you get, traditional SAN arrays have always been blamed for pretty much any performance that you get. And a lot of folks say, hey, the array is the bottleneck, right? Get away from, the SAN arrays because they always bottleneck up. When you look at what's going on in a traditional SAN controller, there's really a lot of very intensive work and a lot of very intelligent work that the software is doing on there. It's not just providing snapshots and mirrors and putting the feature sets out there and allowing you to provision. It's also doing a lot of I/O work, so caching, resource management, all the optimizations that are done, any mirroring between them. If you go through the virtualization technologies, depending on what that particular array controls, all of that's being done on that array controller, as well as any of your device protection. So your RAID allocations, all those things are being done at the same SAN controller that you're having those services come off of. When you look at the scalability, right, because I just keep attaching drives and attaching drives and attaching drives into these pools, every time I'm adding those additional drives, I'm actually adding more work to the controller sets that up there. So it is very easy to burden and to bottleneck a traditional array controller. And as I add that 99th or that 100th disk, there's potential that any one of the disks in that pool can have an event that would impact the other disks that are in that pool, right? So everything's behind that single controller. It opens up that failure domain significantly. If we look at the scalability that we have in the Igloo Blaze, we've offloaded all of that work from the SAN controllers. So our Igloo Blaze controllers are really just providing that data virtualization or providing those data services, essentially providing the features that you want from that storage system. And then at the subsystem layer, as we add additional ICE and scale, all that I/O caching, all that management of devices that a traditional SAN controller is also responsible for are being done by the controllers in the ICE. So it makes it very, very predictable, very easy to scale, and gives you a lot of reliability as you're going out there, as well as separate resource domains. So any disk event in one ICE is not going to impact any of the disks that are in the other ICE behind this system, right? So you have that fault isolation. Again, ultra reliable, ultra high performance. You just don't get that in any other system because the way that we've designed it and the way that we scale is very, very unique. So we still have kind of the two swim lanes, if you will, the Igloo Blaze. Again, that gives you that full-featured SAN array, really just about the features that come with it. It is distributed architecture, which is very unique. It's not just off-the-shelf hardware that we wrote some software and throw a bunch of dumb disks behind. Very, very engineering-focused and intensive to really give you that modular scalability, give you that predictability, give you that worry-free storage. And again, still have the ICE storage line, right? This is more of the software-defined, where we go all the way from archive all the way up into the all-flash to give you the ability to really be very, very flexible, meet the needs in your environment, be able to adapt in that environment for all kinds of workloads. So with that, I think we'll open it up for Q&A. Is there any questions in the room?
Yeah, first question is it possible to hot swap controllers? Or are the controllers hot swappable?
Yes. Yep. Yes, everything's fully redundant. We have failover. The controllers on the ICE, of course, active failover, but yeah, everything's fully hot swappable.
And just to remind everybody, if you have a question, please click on the questions section of your dashboard for GoToWebinar and just type in your question so we can see it. The next question is, does the ICE 5-year warranty also apply to the controllers?
Yes. So the Igloo storage array comes with the same free 5-year hardware warranty that we offer on all the gear we sell.
The next question is, how much administrative training is required to set up LUNs, integrate into VMware environments, etc.?
So simplicity is key in any array that you're looking at these days. They have to be very simple. So again, we do a full configured setup when we install Igloo. Same simplicity as managing ICE, right? We really intend it to be as intuitive as possible. You're not required to have any thought about, well, I've got to set up a RAID group or a disk group, or I have to adjust my array to the behavior that I expect. It's very, very simple. Within about 5 minutes, I could easily have the novice guy provisioning. It's just right-click. Everything's very wizard-driven. Just right-click, give me a LUN, put in the details that you want, present to host. Very, very simple. And I encourage you guys to reach out to your local reps and actually get a live demo of hands-on in the GUI.
The next question is, can I transition Iglu from the existing configuration to a software-defined storage environment?
So yeah, that's another unique benefit is I can buy an Iglu array today, and as I'm progressing down, getting more software-defined or bringing virtualization in, when I don't necessarily need the features at the array set, I want to do it in the environment, I can pull that ICE out and redeploy it because it is a standalone enterprise class array.
Any other questions?
No.
Great.
Well, we would like to thank everybody for joining us today. We really appreciate your time. We hope that you think Iglu is something that is in your future. We would love to hear from you. If you have any questions, just get in touch with us, we can help you find out who your local resources are. We would love to work with you.